welcome to the Recovery Daily podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Thanks for joining me today. First off, the listener challenge, which is the Serenity Prayer Daily Reflection. We have a writing prompt. So recite the Serenity Prayer to yourself and then enjoy a writing prompt. And here it is today. Write about a challenge you're facing and how the Serenity Prayer might guide your response. What I'm thinking is acceptance is a big thing right now for me. So, let's see. What I wanted to talk about today is good. So I'm feeling a little bit better than I did yesterday, and that is a super positive thing. So I did take a nap this morning from like 10:30 to 1, something like that. But then I actually was up and doing a few things. So that is progress. So I wanted to talk a little more about combating fatigue during vestibular therapy, or really whatever you might be dealing with. If you have chronic pain or any sort of thing that might be taxing on you. So, just to recap, I know I haven't really been terribly involved in the podcast over the past several days. I've really been hyper focused on trying to rest since my body's telling me to rest. But just to recap, the vestibular therapy that I'm going to twice a week has been, although seemingly insignificant, the exercises apparently were having a terrible effect on me. I'm really just sitting and moving my head for a couple minutes. And it has just made me feel like somebody just grabbed a hold of my head and shook it. So I really was doubting that that's what was wrong. I mean, there's nothing else that changed other than I started taking some vitamins, but that shouldn't make me feel worse. These vitamins over the course of 3 months are supposed to maybe start making my head feel better. So we'll see, but they certainly shouldn't be the cause of me being more tired. So other than that, I've really been implementing more things for improvement. So the fact that I had started to feel worse, the only thing it could have been is the vestibular therapy, even though it really feels like we're not doing much. And it's at times like this that I have to recognize, or I'm reminded that what has happened to me, this stroke and the damage in my brain, is more significant than I really recognize on a daily basis. And I was talking to my dad earlier today about how it feels, nobody can see what's wrong with me. So it's all about how I'm feeling. And since there's nothing to look at, I don't have one of my hands that's not functional or something like that. I don't have a limp. I don't have these other apparent, things that are wrong, with my limbs and such, that it's just hard to realize how much I've been impacted. So I think that's what the struggle has been for me. I think that's where, when I start becoming kind of challenged with how I'm feeling, I think I get depressed because I start having a hard time deciphering between what is inhibiting me. Is it physical? Is it in my brain? Because it's all in my head, right? It's all in my head. It's either the damage in my brain or it's my chemical uh, imbalance from depression or anxiety. So no matter what it is, it's all between my ears. And it's really challenging to, have the right self-talk on a daily basis. Not just a daily basis, but an hour by hour basis. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I got through today and what I was thinking throughout the day in case there's anybody that can compare in. So, this progress I haven't seen yet. Progress with the vestibular therapy. I haven't seen any progress per se, but I have experienced the fatigue, and that is a significant hurdle to get over in order to start seeing progress. And that's what the therapist and many other, the support group that I went to, that's what they're talking about is you have to trust the process and believe, understand that it's going to get worse before it gets better. So, I really was doubtful. It's hard for me to even articulate how much I was like, there's no way that that all of this is from the vestibular therapy. But it seems like it must be because now we've decreased the homework exercises that she's given me so that I can become stable again. And all of a sudden, my energy level is increasing. So I wouldn't say I'm at a 5. I'm like right around a 6 at this point. I was probably at a 7 earlier today, and then I was able to get down to about a 6. And the way that I spent my day is after my nap, I made myself some lunch, and then I had enough energy, believe it or not, to do a half hour of yoga. And I decided, don't look at yoga as this big active exercise that you have to endure. Look at yoga as a chance to lay down on the mat, because if that's what my body needs me to do, then I'm going to give myself permission to just lay down and not do the typical yoga that I'm used to. So I have a recording of yoga that I listen to on my phone, and I've been doing this one for years. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to start with that. And if I get too tired, then I'll just lay down and I'll meditate or I'll stretch was what I wanted to do because I love stretching. So I got through. The goal was a half an hour. I definitely could have done more, but I purposefully stopped myself after a half an hour because I thought if I can do another half an hour, I'm going to save it and do it tomorrow. So that was my thought process around getting myself to stop and not push myself too far. So I did yoga for half an hour and then I laid down, and both of my puppies were laying down. So I laid down and turned on the Daily Calm on the Calm app, and I listened to a meditation for 10 minutes. And I laid on my yoga mat the way that the vestibular therapist had me lay on her table when I was there on Thursday. And when I was there on Thursday, she massaged my temples. I don't know, not just my temples, but she was talking about When you engage your teeth, when your teeth touch, there's a muscle, muscle that goes all the way around your head. And if you clench your teeth, like I do, I have TMJ, apparently severe TMJ. I laugh, right? Anyway, I have TMJ, and so I clench my teeth. I don't know if I clench during the day. She has me working on paying attention to that every hour. I have to see if my teeth are touching, and if they are, I need to separate my teeth, put my tongue on the roof of my mouth up against my two front teeth, and just relax my jaw. And I have to do that every hour if I remember to. Anyway, she was like, when I laid down in the office, she was rubbing my head. It's more like moving my skin around on my scalp. She was barely touching my scalp, and she was just kind of moving her hands on either side of my temples and then down the sides of my head and up the back of my head. And she just kept doing that for like 10 or 15 minutes. It was lovely. I must say, it was lovely. So she said I could do that with myself. So that's what I did. After I meditated, I just rubbed my head, just moved my skin around on my head like she told me to do. And she said that will loosen up that muscle that wraps around your skull, because she said that mine was tight. So I don't know how you can tell that it's tight, but maybe the more that I do it, I'll be able to tell whether it's tight or not. But anyway, so I did that, and then afterwards, I sewed 2 lines of my quilt. So that's about like 24 squares or something like that. So that's good. I've been wanting to do that for a week. So I finally, and again, so each thing I did, I just did a little bit, so that I got like that hit of dopamine, even when I was doing just the slightest thing. It was so rewarding for me to be up and out of bed. And so you know me by now, that I am the overachiever and I push myself too far. So what did I do after that, folks? I made dinner. And that was too much. So by the time I was halfway through dinner, I actually felt like I was going to fall over. And no, I did not tell my husband until after we were eating. So I know, I can hear you scolding me already. So save it. Okay, so let's explore strategies to help manage energy levels and maintain momentum in the recovery process. And I'm doing this kind of for myself, selfishly, but sharing it with you in case it's helpful to anybody else who's listening. So just to recap, so vestibular therapy, what is it? It's a tailored exercise program, and it's designed to improve balance and reduce dizziness-related problems. So my issue is more visual. Not necessarily do I feel like I'm going to fall over at any point. I say that right after I told you I felt like I was going to fall over after I was cooking dinner for too long. But it's different. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like my brain is giving up on me. It's not a dizziness. It's more like my brain's like, okay, you're done. I'm going to turn off like a TV. So hopefully you're sitting down when that happens, because it's just it's weird. It's hard to explain. So these exercises, it's not uncommon to encounter fatigue when when you're doing vestibular therapy. So while the exercises and activities are beneficial, they are very taxing to your already sensitive systems. So here are some ways to combat fatigue. And I imagine as I'm looking at this that this really is applicable to somebody just working throughout the week. That's how I see it. Like, aren't we all just getting to a point? I mean, I know I did when I was working. Sometimes I was working 12-hour days, and I would get to the point where I am just extremely fatigued, and I have to stop, and I have to prioritize what's in front of me. Like, what can I actually get done that needs to get done? And really scheduling rest, scheduling eating, So I think this is applicable to anybody that is dealing with that kind of overload, mental overload, or physical overload. So these are, let's see, how many do we have here? We have 8 strategies for combating fatigue. So number 1, pace yourself. It is essential to listen to your body and pace activities throughout the day, especially when you're going to some sort of therapy session, allocating energy so that you save the right amount, enough, better to have more than you need for the therapy session means you might have to adjust other daily activities to ensure you don't deplete reserves. And that happens to me really, really easily. So my husband is so great at saying, okay, your mom and your sister are coming over tomorrow. So on Friday, my mom and my sister came over, and he said to me in the morning, actually, no, I didn't really, I guess he was off doing he was working on Friday. And so I got up and decided I was going to make some pumpkin bread for their arrival, even though I was still kind of feeling like an 8 at this point. But I made it anyway because that's what I do. And then, so I sat down and he came upstairs and I said, I made some pumpkin bread. And he was like, maybe that wasn't the greatest idea because your mom and your sister are coming over. So he is better at recognizing, or I guess I just can't seem to stop myself, recognizing that I need to pace myself. I need to save my energy for one thing a day. He battles with me every week that when I have a day that I have something to do, no matter what it is, it's just a visitor coming. That is the thing that I need to save all my energy up for. So pacing yourself. Number 2, schedule smart. So plan your therapy sessions at times when you feel most energized. So if you do have the flexibility of scheduling your therapy during morning hours because you feel more rested in the morning, then try to do that. Everybody's rhythm is a bit different, is unique to yourself. So schedule your therapy sessions to fit your natural energy peaks. This is what I've been doing with my homework exercises as well. I'm trying to do the exercises at a time when I feel a little more peaked in energy. So when I get to a peak in energy, I do my exercise, do my homework. So now I'm only doing it once a day, but I did split it in half because I did the exercises with my eyes open when I was feeling at a energy level that was peaked, and then it depleted really fast. So then after dinner, I did the exercises with my eyes closed. And again, it depleted really fast. It's really quite amazing to be this in tune with my body. It's got a lot less it's got a lot less energy than I would have thought. Okay, so number 3 is quality rest and sleep. Prioritize restorative sleep. A regular sleep schedule, a comfortable sleeping environment, and relaxation techniques can enhance sleep quality, making you more resilient to fatigue. So I pretty much have mastered the sleep environment now that I nap so much. Even the dogs know when it's time to take a nap. We call it cuddle time, and they know exactly where they need to go and really how long we're going to be laying down. So it's kind of fun. You can train your pets to support your quality rest and sleep as well. I did have a noise machine for a long time. We've had the noise machine since I got my Weimaraner, because she's crazy, and every time there's a noise, she would bark. She seems to be maybe a bit better. She really only barks at actual noises now instead of nothing. So I have not been using the noise machine for about a week now. I was afraid that that noise was causing me to be more fatigued. I was trying anything to try to figure out why I was feeling more fatigued. So I've stopped using the noise machine. But what I do is when I lay down for my nap or for bedtime at night, I always put the Calm app on and I listen to a short meditation or a sleep story on the Calm app. I can't rave about it enough. It really allows me um, to separate my day from my nap. It like draws a barrier of I don't know, a barrier between what is happening in my awake time, and it tells, I guess, my body and my brain, like, this is it. Whatever you were thinking about earlier is done, and we're focusing on sleep now. And that's all we're doing is focusing on sleep. So that's really working for me. Number 4 is nutrition and hydration. So fueling our body with balanced meals and staying hydrated can significantly impact our energy levels. So I have been, even in my fatigue, have been making a point to get up and put food in my body, food and water. So I have a certain amount of water that is my goal to drink each day. And I've been doing that easily. I might want to increase that. I don't like to increase it too much, or else I end up getting up a couple times in the middle of the night, if you know what I mean. And so anyway, I've got my water, and I make sure that I eat not lazy meals, but actually put some energy into making something that is healthy and has all the nutrition that I need. Number 5 is mindfulness and stress management. So mindfulness practices such as meditation or gentle yoga can reduce stress and promote relaxation, mitigating fatigue. incorporating these practices into a daily routine can help balance energy. So this is interesting. I've really noticed this. I did not, I used to, I guess when I got sober and I learned about meditation and I started practicing meditation, um, it's taken me years to really feel like I've got a good grasp on meditation, but I still wasn't doing it regularly, daily, at certain times of the day. Now I realize that I have a lot of time on my hands now. It seems like less and less time the longer that I go unemployed. It seems like my day fills up pretty fast. Well, with all this sleeping, of course. But I've started to put meditation and these relaxation techniques to practice at a certain time every day. So, like I said, I've got it before my nap, I've got it before I go to bed. But there's also sometimes, like, for example, after I do a podcast, after I'm done recording, I actually hit stop on the record. I hit stop and then I roll back onto my back. Again, I'm in my closet. I roll back on my back and I lay down in my closet. And I just, shut my eyes. I roll around, like I roll back and forth and massage my back. So it started out because my back was hurting a little bit because I'm in this kind of a weird position in the closet. I'm sitting kind of Indian style, and that's not always supportive for the back. So it started out because of that, but then I found like it's so relaxing after I'm done it. I feel almost like a little positive chemical kick after I've done my podcast episode. It's rewarding when I sit and share about these things that are going on, and it's an accomplishment every time I finish an episode. So I sit back and I sit in that accomplishment. It's a little win for me. And so that is an example of a mini relaxation that I do every day at a certain time every day. So I probably block off at least 4 different times during the day that I stop and just breathe and usually lay on the floor. I don't know. I really like laying on the floor. So mindfulness and stress management. Number 6, communicate with your therapist. So openly discuss the fatigue you're experiencing with your vestibular therapist. They can adjust the intensity and duration of your exercises and suggest alternative strategies to help manage fatigue. That's exactly what I did. I went, first I talked to my psychiatrist about it because, as I mentioned, it almost felt like it was depression. And maybe it was a bit of depression because I had these physical limitations, and it felt like depression. So I talked to her about it. And so that was last Wednesday. When I recorded on Wednesday, I remember telling you that I just felt like I almost wasn't even a part of the conversation when I talked to her. I was so spaced out that day. But I told her anyway because it was important for her to know, because if things started getting worse or, by the end of the week or this weekend, I call her and I'm like, things have taken a turn for the worse. Like, it's important that she knows my progress at all times. So also talking to my vestibular therapist, she immediately knew what to do. I'm sure she had a plan for me on Thursday to come in and do some more exercises, but she completely went down a different path with me since I was suffering so much, and helped a lot and was so understanding. So it's so important to communicate with our doctors and therapists and these people that are trying to help us, because without communicating, you know, they're not going to be able to figure out the best plan for us. And I can't do it on my own, that's for sure. Number 7 is celebrate small wins. So recognize and celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Acknowledging achievements can boost our morale and motivation, making it easier to deal with fatigue. Today, what I celebrated is I actually was able to do some stuff today. And we'll see how tomorrow feels. I have no idea how that's going to go. But I know that today I did a little bit of my vestibular therapy homework and I did a little bit of living. And that I'll take it, That's a little win for me. And then finally, number 8 is seek support. So don't underestimate the power of a support system. Sharing experiences and strategies with others undergoing vestibular therapy or any other chronic illness or pain can provide valuable tips and emotional support. I didn't even know, or else I forgot or wasn't paying attention, who knows with me, that my niece is suffering from headaches and migraines as well. And she was going to come over today, but really needed to rest. And gosh, I know how that feels, So she reached out to me and said that she was really not feeling well and was going to have to reschedule. But now I know, now I know how she's feeling, and I can completely relate. So I can be here for her when she needs support as well. I mean, that's what the purpose of all of this is to be able to be here for you if you're dealing with something. If you don't have anybody around you that you can relate to with whatever you're suffering from, you can listen to the podcast and you know that I can relate. So while fatigue can be challenging with vestibular therapy, it is possible to navigate it with strategic planning and self-care. So with every step, no matter how small, it is progress. So I'm going to keep advocating for my well-being and know that it is okay to rest, Rachel. It is okay to not do 20 things at once. It's okay to have one goal per day. So you can tell I still have to tell myself this every day. So thank you for tuning in to the Recovery Daily podcast today. Thank you for being patient as I feel terribly tired. I felt like I was talking really slow today, which maybe that's actually nice, because I think some days I'm talking so fast that I'm tripping over my own words. So thank you again for joining me, and take care, and I will talk to you tomorrow.